Hi, welcome to Exercise for Beginners, where I teach you how to get started if you've never started before. All right, for today's video, we are going to work on a push day. So, push day. I'm sure a lot of you hear this term all the time, but what does it mean? It typically means a combination of chest, tricep, and shoulder exercises. These are commonly paired together because they complement each other in a lot of the movements. So it just makes the workout more effective if you're working like items, so to speak. All right, so we're going to start first with a chest movement. As I said in my first video of the year, we're going to level up a little bit. So, I suggest getting weights up to about 15 pounds, but you can start with 8s, 10s, 12s, whatever. Those still aren't too expensive if you look into them. They should be between $20 and $35. I know 8s aren't very expensive. So first, we're going to sit on the floor, and I'm going to have you do a chest press. So to do a chest press, you're going to lie flat on the ground. There's a few different ways to do them from the ground, but we're just going to do flat on the ground. We want your elbows to be at a 45-degree angle from the shoulder. So right here, we got 45 degrees here, we got 45 degrees up here, right? So this to me is the most functionally safe way to do a dumbbell press. So when you are doing a dumbbell press, you don't want to go too wide, especially if you're more of a beginner, because that can be a lot more stressful on that shoulder. So 45 degrees keeps it a little more, just keeps it easier on the shoulder joint itself and focuses in on the pecs a little bit more. So from here, you're going to push straight up and come back down. Up, down. Now when you're doing them on the floor like this, if you do notice, you're only going to have so much range of motion. So eventually you would need a bench. You do want to work your muscles in the deepest range of motion that you can so that you get the most out of the movement. But to start, this is a great place to start. So you're going to do, 8 to 12 of these. You want to pick a weight where 8 to 12 is, gets slightly challenging towards the end. Always ask yourself, how many more reps could I have done at that weight? If the answer is more than 5, you should probably go up one size dumbbell and, keep that logic the same. If that one you could still do 5 more reps, then keep going up until you get to a point where you could only do 2 or 3 more reps. That's the right weight for you. Okay, so for that tricep extension, we're going to do an overhead tricep extension. So overhead. I always like to grab my dumbbell like so. My index and pinky finger are around the base of the handle, and I'm gripping onto like the knobby part of the dumbbell. I'm going to reach straight up overhead. So if you notice, my arm is pretty far back. It's not up here. I'm going to stretch back. I'm going to bend all the way back. See, until the dumbbell hits my shoulder. And come back up. Down, up, down, up. So that logic of getting to the deepest stretch and range of motion that you can applies here as well. It applies to just about everything. So switch sides, arms all the way back. Try not to flare that chest though, all right? Reach all the way down, up, down, up. Same thing, we're working in a range of 8 to 12. Triceps are a smaller muscle. You might need a 3-pound or a 5-pound to start that exercise, to start most tricep exercises. All right, number 3, we are going to do an overhead shoulder press. I will preface, a shoulder press is not for everyone right off the bat. If you have been doing my exercise for beginner videos and you've been doing all the shoulder work, there's a good chance that your shoulders have a lot more range of motion than most people, so you might be ready for it. But what I'm looking for with a shoulder press is for you to have the ability to get your arms straight up and behind your ears. Okay, you see a lot of people pressing and they press way up here. You want to be back when you're pressing. So not up here when we're pressing, back here. That requires you to use the stabilizers in your mid-back a little bit more. You should feel your shoulder blades rotating as you're pressing up. So like right through here, you should feel that. That's your stabilizers doing their jobs. So what does that look like? We're here. Again, I don't like to go super wide. I like to stay about 45 degrees. So we're here. Press up. See, my ear should be mostly behind my bicep. My range isn't always the best either. And then come back down. Up, down. But you should feel this part of your shoulder blade working if you're doing it correctly. All right, same thing, 8 to 10. Overhead movements with shoulders, definitely a weaker movement. Start with 3 pounds, start with 5 pounds. You do not have to start with 8 and above. There was a period of time I was doing 5 pounds and I was moving very slowly, making sure that I have every little movement in those shoulder blades. Now, do challenge yourself in time, but no need to go too crazy right off the bat. All right, next we are going to do some plank up downs. I just call them push up up downs or up downs. But for this one, if your plank strength isn't all the way there yet, or your, I'd say maybe more so your push up strength isn't all the way there yet, you could do these ones from the knees. If you're capable of doing them from your toes, I would say challenge yourself. If you're kind of in the middle, do a little bit of both. There's no like wrong answer. Do what you can from a full push-up plank position, and then halfway through, if you need to drop down to your knees, drop down to your knees. It's fine. All right, so I'm going to show you from the knees. So you're in a nice push-up plank here, nice and flat, engaged core. We're going to drop down to our elbows. We're going to pop back up to our hands. Drop down, pop up. Drop down, pop up. Now with these ones, what you want to remember is to alternate which hand you're pushing up on. You know, whether you want to do that every rep, every 5 reps, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you're evenly pressing up with both hands. I like this one as a good intermediary for push-ups because it does require you to push up. It's just not with your full body weight. Last but not least, we have the tricep kickback. So we will be on, watch out, buddy, all 4s. All right, nice flat tabletop. You're going to bring that arm up to your side. All right, you're going to pin that upper arm to that rib cage. You're going to kick that arm back. It's almost going to feel like your tricep is cramping a little bit. That is very normal, unfortunately. Ideally, it won't. But you're definitely pushing against gravity on this one. So, again, pin the arm to the side. You're only hinging at the elbow. Get a nice full extension at the top. All right, and that is your tricep kickback. So, with that one, same thing. You might only need 5 pounds for that. Triceps, anything triceps and shoulders is probably a little less than you would like it to be initially, especially triceps. But everything for today can be done with anything from 3 pounds to 12 pounds, especially if you're just starting out. And I think those are good dumbbells to keep on hand in the beginning. All right, thanks. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Exercise for Beginners Level 2. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel, share with your family, share with your friends. I'm not doing this for any other reason other than just put stuff out there. So please, if you enjoy it, subscribe to my channel, share it around. If you have questions, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Have a good one.